Alrighty, hello everyone. Today is Friday, which means not only does Trials come back and the usual weekend effects, but Zur has come around once again, and so I am here to tell you what he has brought, what Mr. Tentacle Santa has brought for us today, and give an inkling on what everything is. So, starting with the weapon, we have Black Talon, which was one of the few exotic swords back in Forsaken. When this came out, it was one of two. And this is essentially what the arc or the Boltcaster was in Destiny 1, but remade into Destiny 2. So the basic perks being Tempered Edge for more sword damage and ammo, and then the Heavy Guard for higher defenses but a lower recharge for guard, and then the Tireless Blade where basically it's like a 1 in 3 chance that when you kill something, you get ammo back for that kill. And a unique catalyst that makes it so that when you actually block a shot, or if you accurately block a shot, and when I say accurately, it's not just holding a guard and then a shot. It's like a shot is on its way to you and you block it within half a second of it being landed. If you do that, it'll boost your damage of your right trigger, which will essentially send out a wave of. It's essentially it's an energy blast. It's pretty simply just like a blade of energy that gets sent out. And it's pretty strong, and then now, since the season of the it's either season of the Worthy, season of Dawn, I've kind of forgotten at this point. But since the sword rework, it actually has the usual bit of the right trigger attack being heavier when the guard energy is full. It's a solid sword. Would recommend it if you don't have a good roll on something else. Plus, it can help you out of some tight spots with that catalyst because of the boosted damage. Now, moving on to armor, for the Hunter, we have Mechaneer's Trick Sleeves. This is a very niche exotic that I feel still needs a buff or an adjustment to actually be effective. Essentially, this is Sidearm the Gun, and still doesn't have an ornament for it. But basically, it improves sidearm handling in general. Pulling it out and reload are much faster, and if you swap to it when critically wounded, you get a boost in damage. It is very handy in general for, like I said, using a sidearm. And after the recent rise of sidearms being actually kind of effective, I imagine I would see more of this, but I don't. I'm assuming just because there are other exotics that are better, and considering sidearm loaners on their own aren't that hard to get a hold of. Moving on to Dune Marchers, this was another exotic that was very underused until it received a buff. And in basic, this one buffs melee and speed and sprint. It increases your sprint speed, and as you sprint up, you build a static charge, and once that charge gets built up, if you melee somebody, including the hammer throw on Middle Tree, I almost said Striker, on Middle Tree Sunbreaker, it will pretty much do a Trinity Ghoul effect and spark and send arcing electricity outward from whatever you hit. It's a pretty handy exotic, pretty good ad clearer if you need to. Although, depending on the class, I would still go Insurmountable Skull for it or something like that. And then we have Claws of Ahamkara. This was another exotic that needs something done, or originally, I thought, needed something done to it so it could compete with other exotics, because it simply gives 2 melee charges. But when you pair it like something, let's see, is it top? I think it's Top Tree with the ranged attack on Top Tree Dawnblade. If you pair it with that, it's actually not that bad. At the same time, there are still other things that could be beneficial. If there was some sort of melee charge or reduced melee charge thing as well, I feel like this would be generally more seen. Moving on from that, let us see what comes out of our random exotic just to see what we get. And Fangs. I think I actually had this come up not long ago, but this is a very good exotic for ad clear. Basically, it makes it so that originally, it made it so that punching something while you're active Sentinel Shield would recharge your shield, and then you could just throw your shield, and you can just punch, throw. But it was since adjusted so that not only void melee kills in general will give you super energy, but while your shield is active, kills with your Sentinel Shield will recharge and extend. I should just say extend your super. Basically, if you throw your shield, you get more time in your super. It was super beneficial, not only that, because it was a little bit bugged in where just normal melees would also give your super, but after that it was reined in a little bit, and that other bug no longer happens. It is a pretty solid exotic still, though. It's not what it was, but it's still very handy for ad clear scenarios. Would definitely recommend that. But aside from that, that is all what Xur has brought for us today. He is currently on Nessus. If you so want to know where this area is, he is in Nessus in the Watcher's Grave on the barge. I did look up an article to see where I could, and for some reason said it was on Titan, which was a complete lie. Aside from that, my name is Matt Scorpion. This has been the Xur inventory update for July 10th.